Imagine a world where humans could speak, cry, argue, and laugh, but were forbidden to write. A world where picking up a pen was more dangerous than raising a sword. In this alternate history, writing was not a skill. It was a privilege. Only a few were allowed to write. Not because they were wiser, but because they were trusted with power. Everyone else could talk, but their words disappeared into the air. If something was not written, it slowly vanished with time. In this world, rulers understood one simple truth: whoever controls the written word controls reality. So they kept writing far from ordinary people. History existed here too, but only the history of those who ruled. Victories were recorded. Laws were documented. Names of kings survived. But hunger was never written. Tears were never recorded. Suffering left no trace. If injustice happened in a city, and no one was allowed to write it down, then officially, it never happened. Truth existed only on paper. Mothers could not write letters for their children. They could not keep diaries. They could not record memories. A child's first steps. First smile. First loss. All lived only in memory. And memories fade. When elders died, their life stories died with them. Entire lives disappeared, without leaving a single mark. Education existed, but only for those permitted to write. Knowledge was expensive. Questions were dangerous. And thinking freely was quietly discouraged. Writing was not just communication, it was authority. Those who controlled writing also controlled laws, records, and history itself. When something was written, it became official. When something was not written, it slowly disappeared. That is how power stayed in a few hands. Ordinary people could speak freely, but their words had no weight. They could complain, but nothing was recorded. They could protest, but no proof remained. Over time, people realized something painful. Their lives were real, but invisible. Still, resistance did not come loudly. It came quietly. Some people began to write in secret. Not books or long stories, but short messages. Simple sentences scratched onto stone, wood, or walls. They wrote names. They wrote events. They wrote memories. They knew the risk was high. Punishment was not only harsh, it was final. Those caught writing without permission were erased from records completely, as if they had never existed. In this world, the greatest fear was not death. It was being forgotten. In one small town, something unusual happened. People began gathering at night, away from guards and officials. There were no papers, no ink, no books. Only voices. Elders shared stories of their lives. Parents told children about their ancestors. Mistakes, struggles, love, and loss were all passed down through memory. They believed that if writing was denied to them, they would protect history through remembrance. But memory is fragile. It fades with time, and disappears when people are gone. One night, a young voice asked a simple question. If none of us are allowed to write, how will anyone in the future know that we existed? The room fell silent. Because everyone knew the answer. They wouldn't. That moment changed something. People began to understand that writing was not a luxury. It was a human need. Writing preserved truth. Writing protected identity. Writing gave people a place in time. Without it, generations vanished without a trace. There was no sudden rebellion. No dramatic uprising. Just small acts of courage. More hidden writing. More shared ideas. More people refusing to let their stories disappear. And once people understand the value of their own story, silence becomes impossible to maintain. This alternate history reminds us of a powerful truth. Control does not always come from force or violence. Sometimes, it comes from deciding whose story gets written. And when people are denied the right to tell their own story, they slowly lose their voice, their memory, and themselves. This is Hidden Strange History, where we explore not only what happened in the past, but what could have happened, and what those possibilities teach us about the world today.